Good evening. It is so wonderful to hear the chatter and the joyful noise that emanating from your tables. So thank you again to all of you for being here. I'm Michelle Alexandra, Dean and Professor of Law at Stetson University College of Law. I'm extremely honored to welcome all of you tonight to the Hall of Fame 2019 ceremony at the College of Law. First, I would like to sincerely thank everyone here for playing an important role in creating the remarkable legacy of Stetson Law. It is truly extraordinary that our program in advocacy has ranked #1 in the nation a total of 21 times in 25 years. And our fantastic legal research and writing program ranks #3 in the country this year. I am indeed very proud. Since 1980, our advocacy teams have won 5 international and 74 national championships. These achievements are the result of the people at this institution striving to do incredible things. Tonight, you will hear about 3 people who have achieved significant milestones in their careers. We are exceptionally proud of each of them and of their contributions to the Stetson legacy. It is my privilege now to welcome Stetson University Provost Noel Pinter to the stage to talk with you about what makes Stetson so important to all of us here tonight.
Thank you, Dean Alexandra. You all are a rambunctious crowd. There was a lot of cheering and scooting and things going on, and I don't expect that that's just because of Josh Magidson sitting over here, but I am sure that he is adding to that rambunctiousness. Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Noel Painter, a longtime faculty member in the School of Music at Stetson, current provost for the university, and quite honestly, a big fan of so many passionate staff, faculty, alumni, and community members that continue to strengthen the impact of a Stetson education. In a time where the cost and value of higher education is often doubted, understanding that particular point, what is a Stetson education, what is essentially Stetson, is one that all of the arms of our academic enterprise are motivated to understand and leverage. We are proud of our legacy for excellence in legal education, a legacy that extends over years of national rankings, national and international competition victories, best oralist and best advocate awards for our students, and very concretely, the outstanding places that our graduates get jobs, which then lead them to meaningful careers that positively affect our world. Interestingly, as we completed our search last year for the next Dean of the College of Law, a search that resulted in our hiring the brilliant Michelle Alexandra to lead the college. Our hiring committee was struck with the importance of defining a Stetson education beyond the numbers. To do just that, here is what we emphasized. Where we teach matters. We sit tonight on a beautiful and historic campus where our law school was relocated in 1954 to take advantage of the tremendous growth in this area. The greater Tampa Bay area continues to grow, now representing one of the country's 20 fastest growing metro area economies and ranking as one of America's best cities for millennials. And we continue to give back collectively across all of Stetson's campuses, 44,000 hours of community service last year alone. Second, embracing our differences matter. We teach, learn, and work in a community that is almost 18% bilingual. We are in a city that received the highest possible score, 100 out of 100 on the Municipality Equality Index, a reflection of the inclusive municipal laws, policies, and services for LGBTQ people who live and work in the community. 30% of the law students and 40% of our undergraduate students are from historically underrepresented populations, Stetson strives to recognize the value of diversity on its campuses and to make our education stronger through inclusive hiring, enrollment, practices, and experiences. And third, at the heart of Stetson is community. Deeply intertwined here are a group of staff and faculty who genuinely care for each other and develop strong personal bonds, that we are supportive of one another, that we strive to be able to disagree without being disagreeable, that we celebrate each other's successes and support each other in times that are challenging, makes our community one Stetson. As you know, Stetson is not just an academic education, and a degree from Stetson is more than a few letters on a page. The Stetson experience is shaped by academic rigor and paired by powerful support. It is an experience that is enriched by the ideals of global citizenship and opportunities for personal growth and social growth. We dedicate ourselves to educating advocates who are known around the world for helping people, and we take great pride in challenging our students to make their mark on the world by leaving it better than how they found it. And all of us in this room can be proud of the great work that our students do. Tonight, we honor 3 individuals who have significantly enriched the lives of so many, serving as mentors who set the standard for professional dedication. We are thrilled to have this opportunity to celebrate all 3 of you for your commitment to excellence, which includes and extends beyond what you do in education, justice, engagement in the community, and the legal profession. I appreciate the opportunity to be with all of you here tonight, and I applaud you and Dean Alexandra for gathering to honor this year's Hall of Fame inductees.
Before we break for dinner, I'd like to introduce this year's Hall of Fame inductees. I'd also like to mention the honorees from past years along with their families who are here with us. Would our past Hall of Fame inductees and their families please stand? Professor Emeritus Robert Bickle and his wife Marilyn. Judge David Demers and wife Susan, who will be honored tonight. Distinguished Professor Emeritus Bill Eliezer with wife Jan. Will Florin. Judge Josh Magidson. Jim Martin with wife Kathy, the Associate Dean of Career and Professional Development. Bernie McCabe with wife Denise. Fred Schaub with wife Cheryl. Professor Emeritus Michael Swaggart with wife Diane. Professor Emeritus Lamar Woodard. Please give a round of applause again for these Hall of Fame inductees. I would also like to recognize our dedicated faculty for their contributions to the professional success of our students. Would our faculty please stand to be recognized? Professor Kristen Adams, Associate Dean Jason Bent, Professor Chrissy Cernaglia, Professor Lee Kopek, Professor Kirsten Davis, former Professor Judge Robert Davis, Chief Judge of the U.S. Court of Appeals for Veterans Claims, Professor Jason Palmer with husband Anthony Verdeja, and Professor Candace Zert. Please give them a round of applause. Additionally, I want to welcome members of the Board of Overseers in attendance tonight. Many of them wore multiple hats, so you'll hear those names many times. Will Florin, who also serves as a member of the University Board of Trustees. Again, Josh Magidson, who also serves as a member of the University Board of Trustees, and Bernie McCabe. And thank you for recognizing them. And lastly, I'd like to welcome distinguished members of the judiciary, Judge Robert Davis, again, Judge David Demers, Judge Carl Gruby, Judge Anthony Johnson, Judge Michael Johnson, Judge Michelle Morley, who will be honored this evening, Judge Robert Land, and Judge Jason Nemeth. Thank you for all you do to support the law school. And before we break for dinner, I would also like to recognize two distinguished Hall of Fame inductees who have lost their life this past year. We will watch a brief video and I will come back to talk about tonight's inductees. Please enjoy your dinner in the company of your colleagues. Please watch this video now. So now you can return to your conversation and fellowship. We will have dinner and then we'll welcome the inductees afterward. Hello, everyone. I hate to break up the party. And I do hope you enjoyed your dinner. Oof. That's a glare. In the interest of time, I encourage you to enjoy dessert as we resume our program. I have to tell you, though, that what Provost Pinto said is exactly right. What makes us strong is our community. And what I enjoyed the most tonight is going from table to table, seeing the pleasure on your faces as you wholly intertwine with each other and with Stetson. We're having the best time of your life tonight. So thank you for that. I'd like to invite Provost Pinto back on the stage as we introduce this year's Hall of Fame inductee. The three inductees reflect Stetson values to the utmost. I'm humbled to honor these three individuals tonight whose service to Stetson University, leadership in the legal profession, and service to the community has spanned decades. It is a privilege to celebrate this year's inductees. As I introduce each one, we will present a short film on each of them and then invite them to the podium for brief remarks. Our first inductee is Susan Smarterman Demers. I did tell a bunch of people, feel free to make noise, so yeah, you're good, you're good. She is a graduate of Stetson University. She has been a member of the bar since 1975 and has taught and spoken on a range of legal topics, including the intersection of law, technology, and ethics, as well as presentation skills. Since 1982, Susan has served as the Dean of St. Petersburg College's ABA-approved Paralegal Studies program. She is currently the Dean of the College of Policy, Ethics, and Legal Studies at SPC. She has served as an adjunct professor of trial advocacy and technology in the courtroom at Stetson College of Law and as a consultant at the law school to coach for our competitive trial team. She's a past president of the Clearwater Bar Association and currently serves on the Clearwater Bar Foundation Board of Directors. She served on the Florida Bar President's Special Registered Paralegal Program and was appointed by the Florida Bar to the Commission on the Future of the Profession, Vision 2016, in which she is examining the role of paralegals in the future. Let's hear more about her amazing career in this short film.
Susan S. Demers was born and raised in DeLand, Florida. Her father, Ed Smotherman, was a professor at Stetson University in DeLand. Her mother, Kay Smotherman, was a public school teacher in Volusia County. As the child of two teachers, Susan is an avid reader and technophile. Her literary tastes run the gamut. Her first personal computer was the TRS-80 microcomputer system from Radio Shack, and she was one of only about 50,000 people to own Apple's Newton, an early handheld device. During Susan's childhood, DeLand was still rural, stubbled with orange groves and chicken farms. But as a child of a Stetson faculty member, she grew up participating in the college's children's theater program. All elements of the performing arts, from singing and acting to designing and building sets, have remained a constant in her life. Her love of multifaceted projects stems from her years as a drama kid. Susan completed her undergraduate degree in speech and drama from Stetson University. That devotion to drama would lead to another lifelong love, this one with future husband Judge David Demers, a 2009 Stetson Hall of Fame inductee. They worked on a summer production of Deadwood Dick, a melodrama, together. He was the villain and she the blind, hymn-singing heroine. They married in 1970. After earning her bachelor's, Susan set her sights on a law degree. She chose law over attempting a career as a performer because she wanted to make a difference and believed she could do that as an attorney. She enrolled at Stetson Law in January 1971. That same year, she became pregnant with her daughter, Kristen. It was a difficult pregnancy, and the full-time pace at Stetson was too much. Kristen was born in March of 1972, and Susan returned to law school the following year. However, she opted to attend the University of Florida for its more flexible schedule at that time. During law school, Susan worked in the library, was a member of Phi Delta Phi Legal Honor Society, and spearheaded a new student newsletter. After Susan graduated, the family returned to St. Petersburg. She and David practiced law together before he became a county judge in 1981. While David is a double-hatter and their daughter Kristen is a 1997 graduate of Stetson Law, Susan calls herself a Stetson Law volunteer. She began helping a few Stetson trial advocacy students with their presentation skills and soon became a regular presenter on the subject in trial advocacy classes. Eventually, Professor Emeritus Bill Eliezer asked her to assist with the trial team. Her job was, and continues to be, to watch opening and closing statements and advise students on their linguistic choices and use of evidence or other demonstrative aids, as well as how to use their bodies and the space around them. It's fulfilling work that beautifully blends her years of training as a performer and lawyer. In 2008, Susan received Stetson Law's Distinguished Service Award, which was created for non-alumni who devote their time, integrity, and scholarship to make Stetson Law the outstanding legal institution that it is today. In 2009, she and David, along with Professors Roberta Flowers and Lee Kopic, coached the trial team that won the prestigious American Association of Justice competition. They coached 3 Chester Bedell competition teams, 2 of which won the championship. She also has served as an adjunct professor of trial advocacy and technology at Stetson Law. Outside of Stetson, Susan blazed another path of legal mentorship at St. Petersburg College. Since 1982, she has served as the Dean of SPC's Paralegal Studies, working to expand the offerings to 3 programs, all of which are approved by the American Bar Association. She served on a special commission with the Florida Bar that developed voluntary regulation for paralegals to give them more professional accountability and clout. She currently is the Dean of the College of Policy Ethics and Legal Studies at SPC, and one of her most important endeavors is the Civic Engagement Project designed to develop more informed citizens. Susan includes exposure to civic government in all her classes and encourages students to get involved in public life, whether through attending government meetings or volunteering in the community. She also oversees the 4-year program in Public Policy and Administration program at SPC. Though Susan has spent the bulk of her legal career teaching rather than practicing, she has maintained her license and been heavily involved in the Clearwater Bar Association. She served as the organization's president and devoted years toward integrating technology into the practice of more lawyers. She also served on the board of directors of the Clearwater Bar Foundation. 3 times she earned the CBA President's Award, which honors exceptional service to the public and the legal profession. She remains active with the People's Law School, an 18-week program that teaches members of the public about different areas of the law. And of course, she's never lost track of her theater roots. She is on the board of the St. Petersburg City Theater and helped spearhead the 2017 effort to save the company when it began to struggle financially. She and her 2 granddaughters continue to perform in Florida's longest continually operating community theater. Through all her years in the legal, academic, and arts communities, Susan reflected that she is proudest of her years spent teaching students. She believes on any given day as a teacher, you have the chance to change someone's life, and she's gratified she has been able to seize those opportunities. Susan Demers is now a member of the Stetson University College of Law Hall of Fame.
Dean Demers will join us to the podium for remarks. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, I'm gonna do this.
Yes.
And my eyes will. Yes, thank you. So let me start by assuring you I will be brief. Far too many people in this room have had to spend extended hours listening to me not be brief. So tonight, I'll try and follow through. I feel like a terrible fraud. I'm not a Stetson lawyer, but I am a Stetson faculty brat, and Stetson has been a part of my life since my family arrived in DeLand in 1956. So this feels like home. Even at the same time, I am always aware that when I come in to coach someone else's team, when I come in to talk to students that belong to some other instructor, they are entrusting me with an awful big job. You know, it's not really easy if you're the coach, and I have been the coach, who invites someone in at the very last minute and says, well, what would you like to tell my team just before they go out to compete? And sometimes, sadly, they tell me. But I really, I try and take that little bit of a trust and make it that teaching opportunity for me. When I saw Jan Eliezer earlier this evening, she asked me, would you do all of this again? And the answer is unequivocally yes. So I have many thank yous to deliver. To Bill Eliezer, who entrusted me with his first teams, to the successive heads of the Stetson trial program, Bobby, Lee, Pam Bell, Karen Williams, Charlie, and all the coaches in between, from Fred Schaub, who it would actually let me tweak his openers and closers, to Lee, who would do the same. It's such a privilege to spend time with people who are going to change other people's lives just because they have chosen this profession. And I've had the opportunity to see what I sometimes refer to as larval lawyers. I've seen them right there at that state when they're just about to become who they are going to be as they evolve in the profession. It's such a privilege to be a witness to that. And I have to confess, it's been great fun. So I need to say thank you to all of those coaches who entrusted their teams to me. I need to say thank you to successive deans who've allowed me that privilege. I need to say thank you to my colleagues at St. Petersburg College who let me take all that time off so I could come over here. I have recruited a few good adjuncts, you have to admit, from my team. So it works out both ways, right? I also want to thank my family for all the hours that they came with me over here. Sometimes, I think even Maddie came over to coach openers and closers. I think maybe she was 6 when she first tried her first airplane fatality case, vicariously, but still. But I have to also say a really enormous thank you to the best partner you could possibly have, and that is Dave Demers. For those of you who have not been privileged to be coached by Judge Demers, or to go along for the ride while he coaches, or you have not had the opportunity to appreciate his level of commitment to every single thing that he chooses to do, let me just say, it's really fun and it's a great privilege to be dragged along up to that level of achievement. He's a wonderful partner and I've enjoyed all that stuff. Apparently, I also like to win, which has worked out very well for me here at Stetson. I will tell you, one time I was pulling into the parking lot at some mall eatery, and that year Dave and I had coached, along with our daughter Kristen, the Chester Bedell teams, and they were competing in Miami. And I'm about to go out to lunch, and the phone rings, and it's Christy, and she says, "We won." And I said, "It's noon. How could we win? The final round is not till this afternoon." And she said, "Well, it's a Stetson final round, so we won." And I knew then that all those times I told my students and my coachees, really all I'm interested in is that you compete with honor. I was not telling the whole honest-to-God truth. I like to win. And I thank Stetson so much for the opportunity to spend time with all of our students, whether they won with me or they won out in the community as they are trying cases and changing lives. It's been a wonderful experience. Thank you very much for this.
each of our inductees contributing to our students and our legacy. Thank you. Our next inductee, the Honorable Michelle T. Morley, is a 1986 graduate of Stetson University College of Law. It has been said that Judge Morley strengthened the bond between the law profession and the greater community it serves, and as a circuit court judge, is an unsung hero who is a gatekeeper of the law every day. She has distinguished herself in family law, child dependency and dependency mediation training, guardianship, domestic violence, poverty law, and economic diversity issues. She's also been very active and contributed to elder care issues, judicial ethics, and the future of equal justice. Of special note are her presentations on cognitive shifts in older families at the Association of Family Conciliation Courts Annual International Conference in Washington, D.C., and her presentation on intergenerational conflict resolution model, moving forward from awareness to action to a human rights-based approach at the 2018 World Elder Abuse Awareness Day at the United Nations headquarters in New York. In addition, Judge Morley has mentored students through on-campus presentations and other teaching contests, including serving as a guest faculty member in the Constitutional Law and Civil Rights History travel course. I hope you'll enjoy hearing more about Hall of Fame inductee, the Honorable Michelle T. Morley, in this short film.
The Honorable Michelle T. Morley, Circuit Court Judge for the 5th Judicial Circuit in Sumter County, Florida, was born in the Bronx, New York in 1957. Her parents, Jack and Nora, were Irish immigrants with little opportunity for education. Jack was orphaned at 10 years old and stopped attending school after 3rd grade. Nora left school after 6th grade and immigrated to America when she was 18. Homesick, she returned to Ireland 4 years later and opened her own public house and general store. It was there she met Jack. They married, returned to New York, and had 2 children. Nora attended night school to study nursing. While working as a private duty nurse for wealthy families, she quickly recognized that education was the key to financial success. She impressed its importance upon her children. After-school events were off limits if they didn't bring home good grades. After high school, Michelle briefly attended community college in Syracuse, but the miserable weather and industrial harshness of the city began to wear on her. She decided to follow her parents, who had moved to Florida. She enrolled in the University of Tampa for a degree in business management while working full-time in human resources for the school. Her job required frequent communication with the university's lawyer. She was drawn to the logic in his work and began to consider the possibility of law school. Once at Stetson University College of Law, Michelle knew she had found her place in life and felt she was in her element. She made great friends, including Sally Waters in the law library and mentors such as Professor Emeritus Robert Bickle, and considers her time at Stetson to be among the very best years of her life. She graduated in 1986. Her first job was with a small firm in Tavares, Florida, where she handled a mix of family and criminal law. After 4 years, she opened her own practice and became enmeshed in the community. Michelle always loved animals and was drawn to anything that would carry her, be it pony, mule, or even the large dog her relatives in Ireland kept as a pet. She joined the Lake County Sheriff's Office Mounted Posse, a volunteer unit that would search for people or evidence in places best reached by horseback. During her time as a volunteer, the posse helped rescue a lost boy who was suffering from severe dehydration. She also was a member of the Florida chapter of the Association of Family and Conciliation Courts, the Tri-County Business and Professional Women's Club, and several other organizations. She became an arbitrator for the Florida Attorney General's Office, resolving lemon law complaints, and joined the Florida Academy of Professional Mediators. In May 1995, she married Lake County Circuit Judge T. Michael Johnson. They met in 1987 while he was working in the public defender's office and she was with the firm in Tavares. He was appointed to the bench in August 1995. 5 years later, the couple decided to move closer to their aging parents. The Johnsons owned 120 acres of ranch land in Sumter County and gave Mike and Michelle 10 acres to build a home with space for their horses, dogs, and cat named Thurgood Rehnquist. While still active in Lake County, Michelle dove into work in her new community, getting involved with the Lake Sumter Community College Advisory Board, the Sumter County Sheriff's Sexual Assault Response Team, Leadership Sumter County, Thomas E. Langley Medical Center, the Refuge at Jumper Creek, and other organizations. In 2006, Michelle took her own seat on the bench when she was elected to the 5th Judicial Circuit. She first entertained the idea of becoming a judge after being appointed guardian ad litem for a child in a custody case in 1997. It involved an 8-year-old girl whose younger brother and parents were killed in a car accident. Her grandmother and older half-brother were vying for custody. The judge handling the feuding petitions asked Michelle to act as the girl's guardian to recommend the right placement for her. Michelle found it gratifying to evaluate a situation and decide what was best based on the facts and the law. Now she can't imagine doing anything else. She strives for a mix of approachability and sternness as a judge, but most of all, she works to ensure people understand the logic behind her rulings. It is essential to her that people in her courtroom feel heard. Throughout her career, Michelle has been actively involved with many professional organizations, including, but nowhere limited to, the Inverness Rotary Club, the Sumter County Adoption Support Focus Group, and the Florida Judicial Qualifications Commission, which is an independent agency tasked with investigating allegations of judicial misconduct. She believes protecting the integrity of her profession is vital to maintaining respect for the judicial branch. Her biggest initiative has been the Elder Caring Coordination Project. As a judge, she saw many cases where an elderly person was losing the capacity to care or make decisions for him or herself, and the person's family began fighting about what to do. They would take their disputes to court, forcing judges to micromanage delicate situations best left to families. In 2013, she and her co-chair, Linda Fieldstone, brought together a task force of 20 statewide agencies, including Stetson Center for Excellence in Elder Law that deal with aging persons. The task force developed a set of guidelines, a training protocol, code of ethics, and grievance process. They trained elder caring coordinators to use this new alternative dispute resolution process to help families care for their loved ones without the need for micromanagement from the courts. That first year, they trained more than 30 people to act as elder caring coordinators and will be training a whole new set of coordinators here at Stetson next month. Since 2015, elder caring coordination has successfully assisted 70 families. Michelle Morley has devoted her career to serving others and improving all facets of the legal system. She is now a member of the Stetson University College of Law Hall of Fame.
Let's welcome the inspiring Judge Michelle Morley to the stage.
Well, thank you. Try not to get emotional. Doesn't always work. First of all, thank you to the committee members who selected me for this enormous honor. Thank you to Professor Bickle and to Dean Jacob for your nomination. Also, I want to thank the professors that I had the privilege of knowing here at Stetson for all of your encouragement and inspiration and support. In particular, Professor Bickle has inspired me with his commitment to social justice, his passion, his leadership, his professionalism, his gentle heart, and his unrelenting empathy. I want to thank him also for allowing me to join him on the Constitutional Law and Civil Rights travel course in 2014. It was an experience that I'll never forget and was once in a lifetime. Surreal to meet the people who were freedom riders and fought for civil rights. When I was a child, I remember watching them on TV, and then to meet them in real life was like, if you die and go to heaven, who would you want to talk to? Kind of an experience. It was amazing, and I'll never forget it. It also brought home to me the importance of the independence of the judicial branch and how essential that is to the sanctity of our democracy. I thank my mom and dad. Wish they were here. They always held the safety net for me and never told me that there was something I wanted to accomplish that I couldn't, but always told me not to use the word can't when it came to achieving goals. My brother and sister-in-law, I thank you for coming and making this event 100 times more meaningful just by being here. I thank the Waldrons and the Westricks for all of the support and encouragement you've given me throughout the years and all the help that you gave me and really stepped up when I needed it back in 2006 when we were putting up signs and waving on street corners and everything else it took to get elected. To Brandy and Danielle and Jason, I thank you for your help and support, the patience you showed me. You took away the worry that I otherwise would have had when I was off doing the things you heard about me doing instead of minding business at the office. I just felt like with you all back there holding down the fort, everything was on automatic pilot, and you were amazing. And I learned so much from you, even though, I was the boss. It was you that taught me more. I want to thank my husband, who my friends refer to as the husband of the year, not because he tells me you ride the horses and I'll write the checks. Your quiet and unassuming nature leaves wakes of admiration wherever you go. I'm so proud of you. You've talked me down from the ceiling and encouraged me in everything I wanted to do. You made it possible for me to work late, to seek more knowledge, to travel, to take on more projects. You helped me brainstorm for ideas, whether it was trying a case, dealing with a difficult lawyer, not that there's any from Stetson. You consoled me, you encouraged me, you advised me, you amused me, you counseled me. He told me, don't sell the horses, I can't afford the therapy. You always made me feel like the center of your universe and that the rest of the world could wait if I needed something. Your confidence in me made a difference in everything that I did. None of us do the things that we do for awards or recognition like this. It sure is amazing to feel this honor and to receive this award or this position. We all do it for the love of what we do. I love being a Stetson alumni. I love being a lawyer. I love being a judge. I love sharing the blessings that God gave me. I love helping families and aging people and children. I love using the prestige of my office to do good. I love fighting to protect the independence of our judicial branch. I love our democracy. I sure love America. My parents, they would kiss the ground. They were so glad to be here in this country. Although my mom did say to me a couple of times that she left everything she had, her family, the people she loved, her friends, her culture, her country, to come here so that her children wouldn't have to be farmers and have a hard life like she did. And what was the first thing I did when I had the money was go out and buy a farm. But I love being an American, and I love especially being an Irish American. And now I love being a member of the Stetson Hall of Fame. Thank you very much for this honor.
Wow, each and every one of you makes this so special. Our next inductee is Thomas D. Robic Jr., who is a 1986 graduate of our law school. Tommy was a member of the National Moot Court team, and in 2007, the Stetson Lawyers Association awarded Tommy and his partner, Will Florin, its Outstanding Alumni Award. Tommy is a member of the Trial Lawyers for Public Justice Foundation and numerous other associations that promote civil justice. He has been inducted into the $1 Million Advocates Forum, a national organization which recognizes trial lawyers who have received jury awards in excess of $1 million. And he has been named to the multi-million-dollar Advocates Forum for numerous jury verdicts of multiple millions. He is board certified in civil trial law by the Florida Bar and the National Board of Trial Advocacy, as well as board certified as a civil pretrial practice advocate by the National Board of Legal Specialty Certifications. Tommy has received many accolades, including from Florida Trend Magazine, U.S. News and World Report Best Lawyers in America, and Super Lawyers Magazine. Tommy is a frequently requested lecturer at Stetson University College of Law on the topics of negligence and wrongful death damages. He's often been a requested speaker on trial tactics to numerous legal associations and trial lawyer seminars, including the Florida Justice Association. He has served as an adjunct professor at St. Petersburg College teaching civil law courses. Let's hear more about Tommy D. Robic Jr. in this video.
Tommy Robic Jr. was born in Jacksonville, Florida in 1962 as the first child of Tom and Sheila Robic. Tom Robic served overseas in the United States Marine Corps before returning to Florida, where he spent a 50-year career as a successful insurance broker. Sheila Hughes worked in the installment loan department of the Atlantic Bank in Jacksonville. The couple met at a Catholic club dance and were engaged less than 3 months later. They enjoyed a 52-year marriage until Tom's passing in 2012. They had 2 children, Tommy, the oldest, and Linda, who was a trial paralegal at the litigation firm O.C. Najim in Jacksonville. Tommy's father was an avid outdoorsman who taught his children how to run a boat, fish, and respect the ocean, its estuaries, and all the blessings of Florida's natural beauty. Tom and Tommy, over a lifetime, fished waters from Alaska to Key West together. Tommy said, "Those hours spent on the water with my father were some of the most valuable and important times of my entire life." His mother also passed on essential lessons to the future trial lawyer. Sheila is one of 7 children of the Hughes family who immigrated from Belfast, Northern Ireland. A natural-born storyteller, she passed those skills on to her son, along with an unyielding expectation that her children stand up and fight for what they believed in, even if, she would say, you end up standing there all alone. Tommy attended Florida State University, where he played rugby for the Seminoles and was named to the College All-Star Under-23 Rugby Select Side Team. He met his wife Paula while they both were studying at FSU. Paula earned her master's degree in nutrition and dietetics at the University of Tennessee, while Tommy enrolled at Stetson University College of Law in 1984. After obtaining their graduate degrees, they were married in 1987 and have been together for 32 years. Their daughter Taylor, a graduate of University of Central Florida and the Florida State University Law School, is a trial litigator in the Employment Discrimination Practice Group at Florin Robic. Their son Dawson, a graduate of Flagler College, is a screenwriter, actor, and independent filmmaker for Antrim Road Productions. Tommy credits his family as his motivation and inspiration for all that is meaningful in his life. While at Stetson, Tommy was a Dana Scholar and a member of Stetson's National Moot Court team. At the end of his first year in 1985, Tommy applied for a clerkship with Stetson alumnus and Hall of Fame member Will Florin. Upon the recommendation of Professor Emeritus and Hall of Fame member Robert Bickle, Will gave Tommy his first job in the law. That was the beginning of what is now known as the powerhouse duo behind the nationally recognized trial firm Florin Robic. Throughout the 30 years they have litigated together, Tommy and Will have obtained many record-setting verdicts, including what are believed to be, at the time they were awarded, the largest contested plaintiff's jury verdicts in Pasco, Hernando, Sumter, and Pinellas counties. 2 of their verdicts were reported by the National Law Journal as ranked among the top 50 in the United States at that time. Their average jury verdict result is over $1 million. In 2018, he and Will were presented the Best of the Bar Award for top verdicts nationwide. The National Law Journal editorial board recognized Florin Robic as one of the top 50 elite civil trial firms in the United States in 2015. U.S. News & World Report has named Florin Robic among the best law firms in America for the past decade. Tommy and Will have litigated some of the nation's most widely reported cases, including successfully representing wrestling icon Hulk Hogan and former USF head coach Jim Leavitt. They were featured on CBS News 48 Hours for their litigation of the murder of a prominent Tampa Bay area surgeon. Currently, they are preparing for trial in a highly publicized sexual assault case against a Chinese billionaire. Tommy is a triple board-certified civil trial lawyer. Florida Trend magazine named him one of Florida's elite lawyers, and he has been repeatedly voted by his peers to be featured in the Best Lawyers in America publication. In 2017, Best Lawyers in America named Tommy Lawyer of the Year for his work on behalf of his clients. Super Lawyers magazine has named Tommy one of Florida's super lawyers every year for more than a decade. The national publication Law Dragon dubbed him one of America's leading plaintiff lawyers in 2007. The National Trial Lawyers Association has selected him as one of the top trial lawyers in Florida every year since 2009. Tommy and Will have long believed that trial advocacy can deliver meaningful change and recognize that much of their success is thanks to Stetson University College of Law. To show their appreciation for Stetson and its faculty and staff, they annually sponsor the travel component of Stetson's Civil Rights course, where students are given the opportunity to travel throughout the Deep South and experience firsthand the locations and leaders of the movement and the struggle for equal rights and social justice. In 1993, Stetson named its Florin Robic courtroom after the firm. And in 2007, the partners received Stetson's Paul May Meritorious Service Award. Recently, they commissioned and sponsored the new Stetson Outstanding Advocate Award. Tommy points to a $42 million jury verdict in a complicated corporate dram shop case as one of his proudest courtroom moments. Not because of the size of the verdict, but because of the person at the heart of the case, Patrick Osmond. Patrick was paralyzed after a car crash. His parents struggled to care for him in their tiny home without insurance. Patrick had become so despondent, he told Tommy he no longer wanted to live, but didn't have the physical ability to end his own life. Tommy and Will stood up and tried Patrick's case. Today, Patrick owns his own fully handicap-accessible home, has the best health care available, and has started his own business. After closing arguments, Patrick's father, a United States Marine, gave Tommy his Vietnam War Combat Medal as a token of his gratitude for his standing up and fighting for his son. Every once in a while, Tommy said, you can actually see justice done. It is a majestic thing. It doesn't happen all the time, but when it happens, it resonates through your whole spirit, and it never leaves you. Tommy Robic is now a member of the Stetson University College of Law Hall of Fame.
Please join me in welcoming Tommy Robic, trailblazer and Hall of Fame inductee.
Good evening, everyone. Dean Alexandra, thank you so much. And Professor Painter, I'm honored, I'm humbled to be in the company of so many great people that have been recognized by this award. It's especially meaningful for me tonight to be inducted in the same class with Susan Demers and Judge Morley. Their commitment to the law and to community is inspiring. I've always been proud to call myself a Stetson lawyer. Stetson sets the example and the standard that I'm proud to be part of. I believe it's not because of the beautiful campus and the 100-year history and the generations of winning the best trial advocacy school in the United States of America. It's because of her people and the legacy of great lawyers that she's produced. The faculty and the staff are fantastic. They made all the difference for me. They're an enormous part of my life, and I'm grateful for that. And there's many great lawyers here tonight that I know feel the same way. Lawyers like Fred Schaub and Michael Walker and Lawrence Najum. I've had the privilege and the honor of trying jury trials with Mike and Lawrence, and I have watched Fred on court TV. And you can see it in Stetson lawyers when you see them, trial lawyers. You can see the craftsmanship of Bill Eleazar and Judge Demers and Lee Kopic and Susan. You can just see it. These guys make it look effortless. Mike and Lawrence, their eloquence just comes so easily. And it's not. For all of you that try cases, you know it is hard and overwhelming, and I've spent my life in courtrooms, and they can be fearful places. The people that are relying on you need you to say the right word at the right time in the right way so that they can have some chance at justice and that you rise to the occasion. And in that moment, you can feel alone and scared, and you'll fear that you'll fail them in their moment of need, and that can be heavy. It felt that way my first trial, and it felt like that 30 years later. So you young lawyers, I'm sorry, that doesn't go away. When the judge says, Mr. Robic, you now may address the jury, I feel it in the same way, in the same place that I felt it 32 years ago. And you just pray that you have the words. I was blessed and lucky. I had the advantage that I had people that loved me, that gave me the words. I got the words in my mother's kitchen. I still go there to get them. Words about love, wisdom, about life and loss and fairness. Words from my father. He taught me everything, and even up to when it was the end of his life. And he told me, Tommy, when your hour comes, just remember, the only thing that matters is the love that you give. And my sister, the 1,000 conversations that we've had about all of these things that are important, from the bus, riding the bus together until the last trial that we tried together. So the education of a trial lawyer comes in different ways. Here in the classroom, like Michelle, I had the wonderful blessing and opportunity to be mentored by a young professor that started a conversation with me about social justice and about how the people that help build this country go unseen and unheard and unappreciated and marginalized. And that conversation with Bob Bickel has gone on now for 30 years. And he would say to me, that we're not going to solve these problems with skeptics and cynics. We're going to have to solve these problems. I'll always be Bob Bickle's student. Bob introduced me to a young lawyer that was trying lawsuits and was winning verdicts and needed a clerk. And through Bob's graces, I got the job. And early on, I heard that young lawyer tell a jury that he was not adequate to talk about the losses of his client, that he was scared, that he would fall short, that he wasn't the best lawyer they were ever going to meet, but if they would be patient with him for a moment, he'd like to try to be the best lawyer he could be for his client on that day. And I was sitting there saying, that's exactly how I feel. And it's been my privilege, it's been the privilege of my career and my honor to stand shoulder to shoulder with Will Florin for 30 years together, trying and struggling to be the best lawyers that we can. And your friendship's made all the difference to me. But the life we chose and the journey that we've on has been hard, and the sacrifice and the hours have been overwhelming, and that sacrifice fell mostly on our family. And I want to recognize and say out loud how much I love and thank my family, Paula and Taylor and Dawson, who they bore that burden so that I could do this work. And sometimes in our work, people's tragedies are so deep that it's hard to look at them, and their sorrow is so bottomless that it breaks your heart, and their problems and their sorrows become your problems. And you know what I'm talking about, and you can lose yourself in that. And my great grace and blessing was I married the girl of my dreams, and that when I'm lost, she finds me, and she's always found me. And without your love, Paula, none of this happens. And to my two beautiful children that I'm so proud of, I want you to know tonight, award or no, my proudest accomplishment is being your dad. And so, I look at that video and I realize that I've got more yesterdays than I have tomorrows. And I think about the future. And I know that we're facing troublesome times in our country for the rule of law and for our unity as a people. But I have great optimism. And the optimism stems from the young people in this room, the table full of young lawyers over there. There is a new generation with powerful voices and great trial lawyers. Great young people like my nieces, like my Hannah, who dedicated her career to teaching children that weren't born into opportunity. And my niece, Sarah, who we got to spend the summer together litigating an important whistleblower case. She's a student here and brilliant. And she's going to dedicate herself to helping those in society that need the law and that have been forgotten. And that's a lot to be proud of and to be optimistic about. And so, I want to thank you so much for this award. This recognition means the world to me. And I will do everything that I can do to live up to it. Thank you.
So I knew I had made the right choice. I never wavered. But I have to tell you that every day, the Stetson community is the biggest testament to the work that we do at the law school. It is a true honor to with your help, collaborate on taking Stetson to its next stage. So I thank you again for joining us for this important ceremony tonight. We are eternally grateful for these distinguished Hall of Fame inductees and the profound impact they continue to have on the College of Law. And I want you to please join me again as we applaud their contributions, and let's give them all a round of applause. Thank you. I would also ask that our inductees and family members please stay afterward so that we can take pictures. It will be brief, I promise. Before we conclude, I want to thank the many people who worked so hard to make this event possible. I will ask you to hold your applause until the end. First, I'd like to thank staff from the following departments: the College of Law's Development and Alumni Relations staff, Kevin Hughes, Susan Lane, Debbie Swank, Patricia Toops, Mike Casey, Tomika Jackson, and Rosemary Jowdy, who spent months pulling together the logistics required to make this event an outstanding success. Stan Alter and Ashley McKnight-Taylor, who produced tonight's videos. The Media Services Department, in particular, Dan Payne and Julie Kicksmiller, for their work with tonight's event. And thanks to our staff in the Dean's Office, the Communications Office, Public Safety, and Facilities. A special thank you to President Libby, Provost Pinter, our trustees, our overseers, alumni, faculty, students, and staff, who continue to make Stetson University College of Law a vibrant, nationally recognized leader in legal education. Please join me as we thank all of the people behind the 2019 Hall of Fame. So honorees and families, remember to stay a few more minutes for pictures. And to everyone else, good night. See you soon.